Hi there, and welcome to Apple World. This evening, we are following a few new subtleties in the continuous YSL RICO preliminary. While the majority of the consideration has naturally been on Jeffrey Williams, known as rapper Young Thug, his co-litigants are ending up similarly significant for the situation. No doubt. So 11 Live's Brittany Klein Peter has erred on the most recent movement document to eliminate one of Young Thug's co-litigants from the court. The instance of Young Thug has been happening for some time now, and things keep getting stranger the more it unfolds. The actual preliminary had issues before the case authoritatively started off, which it actually hasn't, and the days that have passed from that point forward have just gotten stranger. One of the most recent things that have happened includes one of the individuals from YSL that Young Thug is blamed for driving like a police chief. Obviously, this part of YSL Polo has been acting unusually in court, and that has gotten Hooligan's legal counselor to request his evacuation. As of now, we have our hands on the most recent movement recorded in the YSL case. So Young Thug's lawyers are presently attempting to eliminate one of the rapper's coders from the preliminary following some strange conduct in court, and it's on record here only days prior. Cordarius Dorsey, otherwise called YSL Polo, was making some surprising hand signals in court on Friday. Young Thug's lawyer documented a movement to cut off Dorsey, guaranteeing his way of behaving could adversely influence Young Thug's opportunity for a fair preliminary. Numerous YSL partners are still in jail following different postponements in jury determination and different variables in the rap-focused aggregates RICO case. While the majority of the consideration is naturally on Young Thug, his co-litigants are ending up similarly significant in this preliminary no matter what. Besides, a ton of these deferrals happen because the court cut off different partners from the preliminary for various reasons. A significant number of these connect with the singular's conduct, psychological well-being, and a series of violations committed while anticipating the preliminary for this situation. This new occasion has an indistinct setting behind it, yet Hooligan's lawful group accepts it very well, which may be a weakness. A new film of YSL Polo's odd developments and refusal to give verbal affirmation in court caused worry among numerous, in addition to the fact that this is because of his own well-being and perspective. However, as far as what it will mean for Young Thug and the YSL preliminary overall, Hooligan's lawyer Brian Steele saw this and, as per a recently surfaced movement, needs to make a move he recorded to cut off Polo's genuine name, Cordarius Dorsey, from this preliminary to guarantee a fair interaction for his client. Young Thug's lawyer Brian Steele provided me with this duplicate of the movement that he documented on Friday, requesting Cordarius Dorsey, otherwise called YSL Polo, be taken out of the preliminary because of his improper conduct in court, claiming that his lead could influence Young Thug's opportunity at a fair preliminary. Jeffrey Williams purchased and, through the undersigned board, thus recorded this movement to cut off parties in the above referred to case. Young Thug's group's movement peruses the side of this movement. Mr. Williams shows as follows. Mr. Williams is blameless for all charges in the above referred to prosecution. Mr. Dorsey, a co-indicted, has shown an amateurish and unsatisfactory lead in court within the sight of this noteworthy court, as declared on the record on Thursday, August 31, 2023. In light of the data and conviction during a different preliminary, Mr. Dorsey's utilizing developments with his hand undermined the examiners as well as the hearers. It's not exactly what's lawful or the proof or the absence of proof, it's the manner in which individuals go about nonverbal communication. Mr. Williams has documented an interest in rapid preliminary and won't steam that interest for fast preliminary anyway. Mr. Williams requests that this respectable court practice its tact and cut off Mr. Dorsey so Mr. Williams's sacred right to a fair preliminary isn't biased. When you watch the video of YSL Polo and the odd developments he's making, obviously something is happening with him. What precisely is that? We don't have the foggiest idea, and we will not hypothesize that we should not be mean or impolite. Some could think it is a demonstration, yet that would raise the question of why he would do something like this in a legal dispute of this nature, one way or another. Young Thug is making an honest effort to make all the difference in things and to kick the preliminary off, which is the reason some may be shocked by his positive disposition about everything. Young Thug and YSL's RICO case stays in relative limbo with techniques like jury choice, co-litigants different cases, creating weighty setbacks. They abbreviated this preliminary by only a bit of a spot, However, it will require an extra preliminary that will require some investment in the event that the judge doesn't give the movement to cut off. At that point, on the off chance that this litigant or any of the respondents are all sentenced, he has one more piece of proof on appeal to say it was anything but a fair preliminary anyway, in spite of that and the overall difficulty behind this case and jail conditions. Jeffrey actually keeps his head up through everything. Sure, there have been harder days than others, as we've found in court. Clasps how this negatively affects him, still the Atlanta trap limit pusher predominantly shows more immovable assurance than despair in a recently released piece of film. Out of preliminary procedures toward the start of the month, you can see Hooligans grinning as he holds a discussion with another person. Obviously, you can't actually determine what he's talking about, except if you're a lip peruser, but the positive energy is still there. His lawyer, Brian Steele, is close by him in the video, rearranging through a huge pile of records and apparently planning for the meeting ahead. Young Thug looks quiet, neighborly, and wonderful to work with, in spite of the fact that we don't have any idea who precisely he's conversing with in this class. What's more, Hooligan wears a brilliant hoodie in this recording rather than the common formal attire that he wears for court meetings. Besides, there's a ton of revived consideration in this case right now because of another Fulton region, Georgia. In the case of Donald Trump, many looked at the two circumstances, and despite the fact that they fall under totally different conditions, there are a few associations that made fans and family alike get down to twofold guidelines. Free YSL Young Thug's dad, as of late, is pronounced with a dissent sign. Trump and the group formed a bond. Young Thug and YSL face precisely the same charges. However, no bond makes equity fair. We merit a fair battle. Excessively entertaining there may, without a doubt, be a twofold norm here, which is both sad and unexpected in light of the different things that Donald Trump has done both all through. President, including endeavoring to revolt at the country's funding to keep his administration, he has denied all bad behavior, obviously yet such, that causes him to appear to be a lot more liable than he need. To be viewed as in the meantime, this uplifting outlook from the 32-year-old is something that could keep fans hopeful or possibly chase it's been difficult, so that them might be able to hear basically anything from him in the midst of this entire hurricane and blameworthy or not theirs. Absolutely more. That should be possible to address his melting away well-being and his time away from family, while the preliminary continues to confront postpones many expectation these issues aren't as present. Of a repeat pushing ahead, clearly you can decipher this as an uncle attempting to give consolation to his nephew, so he wouldn't stress however the way that he's ready to act courageously. As is this significant as it shows he has enough happening inside him to keep up with that for family regardless of what his actual circumstance may be. As noticed, the actual preliminary has had many exciting bends in the road, and that is the reason there is one gathering who will narrative all that is happening inside this case, which has been a ton as the preliminary unfurls. An ever-increasing number of captivating subtleties arise. As a matter of fact, so much has occurred in the previous year that it very well may be hard to unravel at all. That is where a new webcast called Lord Ooze comes in. The show is facilitated by Christina Lee and Atlanta columnist George Cheedy, and plunges into the subtleties of the one-of-a-kind case. In the event that you're simply seeing this video, the digital broadcast has previously delivered a few episodes as it dropped its debut on August 15. The web recording came at an at-once, for the situation had dialed back a piece. There were no new significant improvements as of late, and center moved to court show encompassing different rappers like I.W. Melly and conservative Lenez, which was nothing unexpected except for, in the end, the preliminary will get back to headline news when fans of digital recordings will have a method for jumping into the subtleties significantly more profoundly. The new occasions with YSL Polo may be a decent subject of discussion for them, as Young Thug's solicitation for an expedient preliminary, and obviously they could discuss how the arraignment isn't easing up in that frame of mind to take care of Young Thug for good. Fulton Region Head Prosecutor Fannie Willis has been unyielding about putting the YSL tycoon in a correctional facility. It doesn't make any difference what your reputation is or what your notoriety is, assuming that you come to Fulton District, Georgia, and you perpetrate wrongdoings, and, unquestionably, in the event that those wrongdoings are in facilitation of a road posse, you will end up being an objective and a focal point of this lead prosecutor's office, and we will arraign you to the first reaches of the law, she said after his capture, having been in prison for more than a year. The court. Subscribe Apple World for more videos.